In our city of Virginia Beach, it's going to be 80 degrees on Christmas Eve. And we understand that in Christmas Eve across the nation will be the hottest on record, the warmest on record. Now, while that's going on, there was a school where some of the students voted to ban the singing of White Christmas because they said it was racist. But white snow is not racist. It is something that we earnestly want. And the story about Holiday Inn was that if this inn didn't have some snow, they went out of business. And that's why they dreamed of a white Christmas rather than a bleak, non-white Christmas. But we're not going to have a white Christmas. It could be a green Christmas because all the money you'll be saving on gas.
I actually saw it's going to be 81 here tomorrow. You said 80, but
81? Is that the number
now.
I saw was 80? All
yeah,
right.
I mean, it's close, but still,
that's
hot. Incredible. We're getting our
you
shorts.
can go out and surf the water.
And you can ride your horse.
Oh, of course, like ride the horse in 30 degrees, but 80 will make it a little bit better. Okay.
Well, for many families, traveling to Grandma's house is going to be messy, though, with lots of rain and some severe weather in certain areas. Paul Strand has more from Arlington, Virginia.
Here comes Christmas, but it's presenting a real mixed weather bag in the U.S. this year. With gas below $2 a gallon all over the country, and with warmer temperatures than usual covering half the nation, it's easy to understand why most folks are choosing to hit the road this holiday. 100 million Americans will be out there driving around. Not only will many drivers be free of nasty ice and snow on the roads, they'll likely have more cash in their pockets. Lower gas prices mean each driver saves some $550 this year.
1 year ago, I had to put around $50. Now, maybe with 36 or $38, I fill it on my car.
We could see prices drop another 25, 30 cents in the next month.
But the lower prices and higher temperatures on the East Coast don't mean all the holiday news is positive. The weather's been horribly messy elsewhere. 3 drivers were killed in a 10-car pileup on a foggy road in Arkansas. And dangerous storms with threats of tornadoes are bursting out in the Midwest. So if you're there, you might want to hunker down today. Everywhere else, if you're driving, buckle up.
During the Thanksgiving holiday period, we worked for 4 fatality accidents, and they were all basically the same wreck. One vehicle goes off the roadway, rolls over, driver not wearing a seatbelt, driver gets ejected.
Out west, great gobs of snow have buried Washington state. Drenching rains hitting many other places. 38 million people will be flying this holiday season, and some could face delays because of those Midwest storms and southern downpours.
Heavy rains in the southeast around Atlanta and the potential for severe weather later in the day. Even Chicago will be looking at wind, rain.
Meanwhile, here in the east, there will be widespread rain, meaning slippery roads. And with so many more people traveling, that means a lot more tricky traffic to deal with. Finally, the warmer temps mean a vast majority of Americans will miss out on the delight of a white Christmas. I'm dreaming of a... not this year. Paul Strand, CBN News, reporting from Northern Virginia.
Paul, you're a good man, but you'll never make it as a recording artist. I'm sorry, buddy. The next news shows maybe why some religious figures to stay out of politics, but Franklin Graham has announced that he's quitting the Republican Party. Charlene Aaron has that story.
Well, Pat, Franklin Graham says he is leaving the GOP because of 2 big reasons. The evangelist took to Facebook blasting Republicans for passing a, quote, wasteful spending bill and for funding Planned Parenthood. Graham wrote, "There is no question taxpayers should not be paying for abortions. Abortion is murder in God's eyes." He went on to compare the recent undercover videos showing the sale of aborted baby body parts to Nazi concentration camps. Pat?
You know, in truth, I think that budget was a monstrosity, but there wasn't a whole lot they can do. They can pass a budget that has all the good things in it. Then it goes up to Obama, and Obama vetoes it. So you have a confrontation. Then what do you do next? Well, you shut the government down. Then who gets blamed for it? The Republicans, the Democrats. So you go back and forth. And so Paul Ryan just decided, look, I'll play nice. The cake's already baked, so I may as well serve it. And a lot of people weren't happy, but they had a few good things in there. But nevertheless, it didn't make a lot of people happy. I think that's one of the reasons that the Republicans lost the Congress a few years back when George Bush was governor. He was a big spending liberal, and the grassroots said, look, we're not on board for this free spending stuff. You've run the budget up and you've run deficits up, and therefore we're not going to support you. And It cost it cost the Senate because of that. Charlene?
Pat, Kentucky's governor has ordered the state to create new marriage licenses. It is an attempt to protect the religious beliefs of local elected officials. Matt Bevin issued the executive order to shield county clerks like Kim Davis. The Rowan County clerk spent 5 days in jail for refusing to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples. Bevin has ordered new licenses that don't include the names of county clerks, so they won't appear to be endorsing gay marriages. Well, the people of Baltimore want to change the image of their city following high-profile violence that erupted in the streets earlier this year. As Ephraim Graham shows us, they're finding powerful unity in simply sitting down to enjoy a meal together.
Police break for a pickup game outside this neighborhood rec center. Inside, volunteers dish out hot meals. This is a unity celebration. Baltimore police officers wanted for their city.
They truly love this town and the people that they serve.
Gary LeBlanc and his Mercy Chefs team traveled the country. They responded to Baltimore in April when riots erupted following the death of Freddie Gray. Mercy Chefs fed the officers and National Guard 4,000 meals a day. Mercy Chefs came back to share that love for the Christmas season.
Our hearts were turned to Baltimore, and it was just the opportunity to come and set the Lord's table of hospitality and then just see what he was going to do. That amazing thing that happens over a shared meal.
Is everybody okay with juice? I'm very proud of my city. There's so much more than what was depicted on the negative images associated with the unrest. There was so much positive protest. There was so much positive collective coming together.
In so many ways, the Charm City is rising up, rebuilding and reshaping its image, and everyone, from the youngest child to the man in blue, is giving it his best shot. And it's these images depicting the police motto, protect and serve, they hope more people will see and remember. Ephraim Graham, CBN News, Baltimore.
What a beautiful picture out of Baltimore, Pat.
You know, the head of Mercy Chefs told me that a few weeks ago when they were there serving hot meals, the police actually wept. They cried when they said, "You've actually come to do something nice for us," because it looked like the city was turning against them. Professional demonstrators, and that's what they are. They're professional demonstrators, came to Baltimore to stir up civic unrest. And those people are just self-serving. But Mercy Chefs comes back in to say, we're here to serve you, and the police were there to serve the people, and they got together, and that's the way it ought to be. And Baltimore's a terrific city, and we just wish them the very best at this Christmas season. Charlene?
A restaurant chain in Texas is warning customers that their eatery is, quote, politically incorrect. The CEO of Berry Hill Baja Grill says he's Jewish, and he still sees nothing wrong with saying Merry Christmas. The chain has posted signs outside all 9 locations, saying Merry Christmas, God bless America, and in God we trust. The sign also notes that customers can leave if they are offended. Well, Christmas is just days away, and instead of comfort and joy, many are feeling stress and even sadness. But as John Jessup shows us, you can take heart because the true message of Christmas is hope for the hopeless.
During the Christmas season, commercials like this seem to be everywhere.
Our Christmases are never as good as a Pepsi or Coca-Cola commercial. And we create such an expectation of achievement that it becomes impossible for us to ever reach.
Still, we try shopping until we drop, spending more than we should. According to some surveys, 42% of Americans say Christmas is stressful. Nearly 60% will carry Christmas debt over into the new year, and 45% say the financial strain makes them want to skip Christmas altogether.
The higher our expectations, the greater stress that we self-create in order to meet those expectations.
But here in London, we found someone who sees a way to redeem the excesses of Christmas, something he calls Santa Claustrophobia.
Well, I think there's a lot of hype around Christmas, a lot of eating, drinking, shopping, but I think it can be a time when it exacerbates people's issues and their isolation, their loneliness, their kind of homesickness for God, really, which is what loneliness is.
In the publication, Why Christmas?, Nicky Gumbel hopes to alleviate that homesickness by pointing people to what he calls their true home with the Lord.
It's a great opportunity to tell people the good news about Jesus, the coming of God to this earth to transform our world and to transform all our lives.
The illustrations were drawn by Charlie Mackesy. A former atheist, he marvels at the scene of Jesus' birth.
I think the Christmas nativity, when you really look at it, is far more shocking and far more beautiful than you can imagine, because it's the human race being received with grace.
Mackesy points to the shepherds, regarded at that time as godless, filthy thieves.
There was a law that said if you find a shepherd in a pit, leave him there. And they were the ones who invited, they were the ones who actually introduced the birth of this person to the world. That's making a statement at the outset that Jesus invites the outsider in immediately into his presence.
Mackesy and Gumbel believe that invitation stands today. They hope Why Christmas reaches people weary with the holiday season and ready to hear the good news.
That God loves them. God wants to be in a relationship with them, that Jesus came to this earth to die for them so that they could have life and life in all its fullness. So the message of Christmas is a really wonderful, positive message.
John Jessup, CBN News, London.
And Jesus is the reason for the season. Pat?
He is indeed. What a wonderful thing.